this video, we could do a what I'm reading video. I used to be a really big, really voracious reader, and as time went on, I kind of really slowed down on reading. I read and write a lot for work, so sometimes it means I don't really want to read as much for fun, which has been disappointing for me, because I really do enjoy reading. And so I thought for this video we could just do like a what I'm reading, what I've recently read kind of book video. This is like my 4th time recording this because I keep running out of storage, and now my fridge just turned on, so I'm sorry if you can hear that in the background noise. But let's just kind of jump right into it. The most recent book that I fully finished cover to cover was The North Woods by Daniel Mason. Now, this one I really liked. It is a collection of short stories, and this one I exclusively read while traveling, and because it was short stories, it worked out really, really well, where I could just kind of pick it up and put it down super easily. And this book, it was kind of nonsensical, and I did fully judge it by its cover, because that cover is gorgeous, and it was kind of what helps me pick it up. But yeah, let me just read you the description on the back. When two young lovers abscond from a Puritan colony, little do they know that their humble cabin in the woods will become the home of an extraordinary succession of human and non-human characters alike. An English soldier, destined for glory, abandons the battlefields of the New World to devote himself to growing apples. A pair of spinster twins navigate war and famine, envy and desire. A crime reporter unearths an ancient mass grave, only to discover the earth refuses to give up its secrets. A lovelorn painter, a sinister con man, a stalking panther, and a lusty beetle. As the inhabitants confront the wonder and mystery around them, they begin to realize that the dark, raucous, beautiful past is very much alive. I really, really liked this book. I thought the short stories were interconnected really, really well, which is something I think is really hard to do. And I think the author I really liked the stories, and I think the author did a really great job of weaving them together and building that interconnectivity and the similar themes across one another while still making each story be able to stand on its own. It also won a couple of awards. I think it was a Pulitzer Prize finalist. It was one of the top 10 books of 2023, according to the New York Times Book Review. Let me see what else were some of the other accolades. It was a finalist for the National Book Critics Circle Award. So, and like on the back of the book, it lists a whole bunch of the other awards. So I highly, highly recommend this one. I really, really liked it. Okay, another book I'm currently reading, so I finished that book back in March, and I've been reading since then. I've been kind of reading a couple other books, here and there, but one book I recently picked up that, I got it for free, is Fight Oligarchy by Bernie Sanders. If you don't know who he is an independent senator from Vermont, and this book is really small, like, in terms of size. This itself is only 140 pages. It definitely reads like a campaign speech. But I kind of think it was intended to, because I think this book came out at the same time he started his political Fight Oligarchy tour. And I went through a phase where I was kind of exclusively reading political memoirs and like political related books. That was a couple years ago. And so this is the first like political book I've read in a while. It's small, where it's enough where it can fit in your pocket super easily. My hand is bigger than this book. But if it's in your pocket, so if you want performative and just like carry that around, you totally can. That's something I have done. But I I find the material interesting enough so far. It's a little, I think I got it for free because I made a donation and they sent it to me, so yeah. Okay, another book I'm currently reading is My Brilliant Friend, and this was gifted to me for my birthday from one of my best friends who's actually been on this channel, Diane. Well, she goes by Diane on this channel. We've only done one video together. We filmed a couple other times, but I only ever uploaded the one. And this book I really like. I'm only about a third of the way through, but I really like it so far. And it's this really nice story about friendship, and it's set in Italy. So let me read you. It's also a critically acclaimed HBO series, which I haven't watched yet, but I do plan to watch once I finish the book. So let me read you the description. From one of Italy's most acclaimed authors comes this ravaging and generous-hearted novel about a friendship that lasts a lifetime. The story of Elena and Lila begins in the 1950s in a poor but vibrant neighborhood on the outskirts of Naples. Growing up on these tough streets, the two girls learn to rely on each other ahead of anyone or anything else, as the friendship, beautifully and meticulously rendered, becomes a not always perfect shelter from hardship. Ferrante created a memorable portrait of two women, but My Brilliant Friend is also the story of a nation. Through the lives of Elena and Lila, Ferrante gives her readers the story of a neighborhood, a city, and a country undergoing momentous change. So, I'm only probably a third of the way through, a third of the way through. But I really like it so far. I like stories about how people impact one another. Sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse, you know. But I like stories about friendship. And this one's good so far. So, thank you, Diane, for gifting me this book. I do really enjoy it, and I am excited to finish it. I have a couple trips coming up, and I'm planning on reading this by the pool or by the beach. Or on the plane. So next, I have a couple other books that I haven't read yet, but they're on my list to read. First is The American Plate, A Culinary History in 100 Bites. And this is more a cookbook, but I wouldn't say it's a full-on cookbook. It's more of like, there are like, I guess a cookbook, like it has recipes, but also I think it really dives into the backgrounds of the foods or of the specific dishes, and kind of this evolution of the American, like the American diet, not diet's not the word, but like the American culinary experience. And like I said, I haven't read this quite yet, but I picked it up because one, it was on sale. I think I paid $7 for it. But it looks really interesting. And it talks about like the history of these foods, or how the economics, technology, and social movements have changed our tastes. I think it's by the History Channel. So, I like history a lot. I didn't study history in college. I've talked before about what I studied. But it wasn't history, but I always liked history. And this book's a little bit longer, but it is a cookbook. And then there's a whole section of recipes, so this is one where I kind of keep it on my kitchen, in my kitchen, because I think it's also just a really cool book to have on hand, because I think it's a cool conversation piece. But I do eventually want to do that thing where you cook your way through a cookbook, almost like a Julia and Julia. If you guys have seen that movie, or like I haven't seen that movie, to be honest. I just know the premise. But I do eventually kind of want to cook my way through this, because I think it's cool. Okay. Okay, next is this book called Dear Monica Lewinsky. This book I actually gifted for my friend Diane for her birthday. And I know the title may seem a little shocking, but it's had really, really good reviews. And it seems really interesting, and my friend Diane really liked it. So she told me I should pick up a copy for myself. So I have. Let me read you the description. 40-year-old Jean Dornan cannot escape the summer of 1998 when, as a college student studying abroad in France, she embarked on an inappropriate relationship with her professor. Now, decades later, when the professor contacts her out of the blue with an invitation to his retirement ceremony, Jean's long-standing malaise, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, becomes an emotional crisis. Desperate to understand why this relationship derailed her life so completely, she begins to rereading her old diaries and is shocked to realize that her own disastrous affair occurred during the same summer of the Lewinsky scandal, yet she never saw the parallels. In a frenzy of guilt and regret, Jean finds herself praying to Monica Lewinsky for forgiveness as if she were a secular saint, a figure of both suffering and sympathy. To Jean's shock, Saint Monica appears, powerful, radiant, wise, and witty, and guides Jean like the ghost of Christmas past back to the summer of 1998. Had Jean merely been naive and stupid, as she has told herself for so long? Or was it sheer weakness that led her into the affair? Or would Jean, with Saint Monica by her side, see past to the beauty of her younger self's search for pleasure, connection, and transcendence? Told in flashbacks of those sunlit 6 weeks in France, replete with Saint Monica's flinty, fiery insights, and interspersed retellings of the lives of real historical martyrs, Dear Monica Lewinsky is a tender, hilarious, unholy, original examination of desire and its costs, of appetite and its denial, and of certain defeat and surprise renewal. It asks what grace and forgiveness might look like in our own individual lives and as a society. So I'm excited to read this book once I finish My Brilliant Friend. I did start reading it partially, but then I was like, no, I cannot start another book without finishing the first book. I don't know if you guys do this, and this is a controversial opinion. When a book has a flap like this, like the jacket, I am someone like I use it as a bookmark. I know that's probably gonna bother someone, but I pay for the book, so sorry if that was alarming to you. And then there was another book I had over here. This book I picked up, I made some progress on, but I kind of set it aside and I forgot everything that happened, so I do have to start it all over again. I bought this back in January. This was called Women's Hotel. I thought this was going to be another short story collection, but it's not. It seemed interesting from what I remember, but there were other books I picked up. But let me read you the back. My plan is to eventually read this because I do want to read it. The Biedermeier may be several rungs lower on the ladder than the real-life Barbizon, but its residents manage to occupy one another nonetheless. There's Catherine, the first-floor manager. Slightly cynical and more than slightly suggestible. Lucienne, a work-shy party girl caught between love of comfort and instinctive bridling at convention. Katie the sponger, Ruth the failed hairdresser, and Pauline the typesetter. And there's Stephen, the daytime elevator operator and part-time Cooper union student. The residents give up breakfast, juggle competing jobs at rival presses, abandon their children, get laid off from the telephone company, and attempt to retrain as stenographers, and all with the shared awareness that the Biedermeier's days as an institution are numbered, and they better make the most of it while it lasts. So this is by Daniel Avery. Or, not Daniel. So this is by Daniel Lavery. Lavery? I don't know how to pronounce his last name. And this one I'm probably also about a third of the way through. But this one I did use a bookmark. Actually, that's not true. The bookmark is just a bunch of pieces of paper that I had in my bag. So, what do you guys use for bookmarks? Let me know. Also, let me know if you guys have any suggestions for books in the comment section below. But I'm going to end the video here because I am convinced my phone's going to run out of storage again, because my phone keeps running out of storage, and usually in the past, when that happens, it means it's time for a new phone. Because when I get a new phone, I don't transfer any of the photos over. And I just started new, so okay. And I really don't want to delete any more videos and stuff off my phone, so, but I don't want to pay for a new phone anytime soon. Sorry, that's a bit of a tangent. But I'm gonna end the video here. Let me know if you have any book suggestions.